What's good, guys? Fancy Joe back here in our Dynasty Buy Low. Today I'm talking quarterbacks. Who are the guys that you can strike on in Dynasty, get a good deal on them now, and help them propel you a bunch of wins and some championships in these coming years? I'll be letting you guys know. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always, and all that stuff really helps out the video, so I do appreciate the support. Alrighty, let's hop into it. My first quarterback buy low in Dynasty is none other than Kyler Murray. You can see, so right now, back end quarterback one, and I'll break down all my reasons for why I think I view Kyler so highly. So first off, let's start with his age. He's still a 26-year-old quarterback. And let's look at some of these seasons that he's had. Rushing upside is something that he certainly brings to the table. You see 544 rushing yards, 819, 400, and then 244, and that's coming off a torn ACL and only playing in 8 games this last year, 11 the year before that, and 14 the year before that. So incomplete season, still rushing for over 400 yards per game. If he stays healthy, he's a 500-yard rusher per season, and you can basically book that as far as a quarterback goes, which is extremely beneficial. And like I said, he's already coming off that ACL injury, so he should be vastly improved this year running the ball. So he's a young quarterback who brings rushing upside. He's put up some big passing seasons already in the past. You can see almost 4,000 rushing yards, 4,000 passing yards in 2020, his last complete season, 26 passing touchdowns as well. He's a guy that just fills it up in all the categories. Another thing I want to point out to you. So Kyler, everyone is down on him because he wasn't exactly himself this past year, even though he averaged 18.9 fantasy points per game returning from injury. The year previously, he averaged 18.9, and again, another partial season. 2021, 22.2 fantasy points per game, and 2020, 24.4 fantasy points per game. Basically, every single year he's been successful, and he's had elite years as well when he hasn't been injured. Now let's take a look at some of these other positions, and the reason being I want to show you Kyler Murray. I think one of the reasons people should be higher on him, look at the weapons he has, where they are in Dynasty right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. is number 5 wide receiver overall. Let's go to tight end. Trey McBride, another guy he has, right now ranked as the number 2 fantasy tight end overall. Another guy, running back, that they just brought into the team who's going to help them out, Trey Benson. You can see him the number 19 running back, and he's not even expected to get a ton of run this season. But all that just goes to show you that Kyler Murray is a really good buy now. He's a buy low. I firmly expect him to be, a top 5, top 7 fantasy football option this year and moving forward. You got a lot left in the tank because of his age, and he's got better weapons than he's had in a long time surrounding him. I expect Kyler to be very good for fantasy this season. Now let's talk about some trade options that you can eventually get him for. Honestly, if I had even a CJ Stroud, who I think is going to be very good, this is an anti-CJ Stroud take, but you could probably trade someone like CJ Stroud for Kyler Murray right now and pick up a back of the first round rookie pick or something like that, or even a beginning of the second, something of that range. I think there's even quarterbacks down here below too. I think you could turn Dak Prescott in a lot of leagues into Kyler Murray, coming off such a monster season for Dak this last year. A lot of Cowboys fans just out there in the world. I think that's something you could get done. Another guy I'd throw out there, Tua Tagovailoa and Brock Purdy. I think you could potentially take both of these guys, maybe Tua and a third, or maybe even Tua straight up, because I think a lot of people are lower on Kyler than even this number 10 ranking shows. And Tua and Brock were both really good for fantasy last year. I think those are deals I would be trying to make currently, along with Dak. Even a Justin Herbert, he doesn't have great receiving options around him right now, and you could take Justin Herbert. And get Kyler Murray plus an asset, and I would be doing that just across the board. I think it's a better help for your fantasy team. So much of quarterback scoring these days comes from rushing upside, and Kyler Murray has that, so that's just something you should really be considering. I think Kyler is the time to strike as far as acquiring him in Dynasty goes. I think you do it for a very reasonable price, and I think you can maximize a lot of upside for your team for the next 4 to 5 years and open up that championship window if quarterback is what you need. Let me throw out another guy here that I think is worthy of a trade. He's so far down here. Jared Goff, the number 19 fantasy quarterback. Let me throw out some stats though. Jared Goff this last year was a quarterback 7, averaging 17.8 fantasy points per game. The year before, the quarterback 10, averaging 17.1 fantasy points per game. He just got a massive contract as the second highest paid quarterback in football now. Another thing to consider is that Amon-Ra St. Brown signed a long-term deal there for a long time. Penei Sewell signed a long-term deal there for a long time. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 years left on his rookie contract. He's going to be there for a while. He has tons of guys around him that are going to be there for a set amount of time. We already know this, that are very good, and maybe people think give him his fantasy value. And if they do, that's just fine because, like I said, they're all going to be there. Great offensive line, good offensive system. A lot of things are going right for Jared Goff right now, and you basically have to give up Bryce Young or something like that to be able to get yourself a Jared Goff. I think if you're a fantasy football team right now that is desperate for quarterback, let's say you had somebody who retired last year, you got an aging veteran, you've got some running backs, you've got some wide receivers in your roster already, and you maybe don't have the assets to go out and acquire a Kyler Murray, I would just be getting a Jared Goff and be very happy with that level, knowing I'm going to get 10 to 12 quarterback range. You could almost book that, and then he could be the quarterback 8 this year and be a real fantasy asset to my team. He's not going to be that league-winning quarterback, but he's going to be that guy that can go in there, give you solid points each and every week if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel from where you were at recently in your picks. I think Jared Goff you could probably get for a third-round pick in a rookie draft or something like that. Very low-tier wide receiver who has some kind of upside you can sell to somebody. There are a lot of ways to go out and acquire Jared Goff, but with where he's being valued currently in Dynasty, I think he's a good guy to go out there and acquire. Alrighty, if you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the Buy Low wide receivers. That video is already out. Check out Buy Low running backs. I'll be coming to you shortly. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.